What's that one where it's like a fear of big words?
Hippopotamonstrosiquipa pedalipophobia.
What a fucking dickhead thing to do.
Yeah.
They named like the phobia. They make it a big word.
I think it's the biggest word or second biggest word.
Yeah. They're like, I'm sorry, I diagnose you with... I'm Scatgar.
I'm the Crimson Stain.
And I'm Dr. Scattenstein. And welcome to the Scat Cast, the Halloween cast, the Scattoberfest. We don't know either.
Now, I want us all to just take a moment to reflect on why we're here today. Does anyone really know like the full lore of why we even do this shit in the first place?
I like carving pumpkins.
It's based off of a Catholic holiday called All Saints Day, and then the evening is called, or the evening before is Hallows Eve.
I like candy.
And then there's a ton of pagan practices that got mixed in between with the Germans. And then, somehow trick-or-treating became a thing in America because it's commercialized in another way for them to get money out of you. And
I like haunted houses.
Yeah.
Well, it has its ancient roots in the Celtic festival of Samhain. It's pronounced. It's spelled. It's fucking crazy. I don't know how Gaelic works, but how you can get SAMHAIN and spell Samhain is beyond me. I'm not trying to be mean, but like it's a little dumb. But anyways,
saying a dead language is done. That's crazy.
I'm allowed to speak my mind. In a pagan religious celebration to welcome the harvest at the end of the summer, when people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. Which is really weird when you think about it, because one of like our biggest primal fears is the dark and like what happens beyond death. And it's so weird to like, even like we have a concept of like the afterlife when like no one even knows what that is. You know what I mean? Like everyone just has like their own word of mouth on what happens, but like they all unanimously believe that we linger once we die, or we can linger once we die. And that's just been like a common thread amongst like humanity.
Do y'all think there's like any possibility that ghosts could be real?
I don't
know if ghost would be the actual term.
What would they prefer to be called? What do you mean?
No, I'm just
term?
saying like there are people have like a weird extra sensory thing that like would almost be described as them having a higher conscious. That would be probably the closest barrier to like a ghost. It's just something that like is more thought based and kind of can manipulate you. So I don't want to like get into like. So like maybe I'll just say like it's an extra energy thing. Like,
is there a reason why you're like so like sure that it's not possible?
I'm just not spiritual, so that's it.
So when it comes to like scientific evidence that shows that there is like weird stuff that we can't see.
The only thing I know of is that you get lighter after you die.
But I mean, that's probably just because you lose gases.
You lose gases, you lose fluids, you lose a lot of stuff.
What about people
are
who
like,
have,
oh no,
like,
it's the soul's lead. Like look, the soul has like a weight
shit
to
his
it.
pants.
Yeah.
What about people who like have like weird, unexplainable situations? Like have no reason to lie about that type of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, there's like I'll give you an example if you were looking for like the stories of children being able to describe a dead person they've never seen or met
stuff
before.
like that.
Are we gonna take testimonies from children now?
I mean, if they've explained something,
they can describe like an actual detail of a person that like. So let's just say that, like,
I don't know. I don't think it's like. I think
that's just one of the
when you were
it's just a
talking
lucky
to
guess?
somebody like, I mean, they're kids. They're super imaginative. Like you can just see things that aren't there as a kid.
But they're seeing someone who you knew that is dead now.
That is like alive. Like they name an event in their life. Like, hey, he did this. Like it was a dog named Skippy, and like, oh, this person that this kid never knew did have a dog named Skippy. They were murdered. Yada yada. Just
Skippy's
like
a very common name to give to a dog.
You're saying it's just a very lucky guess.
Sure.
If they describe like the hair they had, their name, their eye color, what they did as a profession, how they died, that's just a lucky guess.
Sure. Like what's an example of that?
I mean, I can't think of one off the top of my head. I'm just saying like as an example, if you saw like something like that did
But has that happened?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's been cases of that. We're coming up with examples. Like,
because I can't think of any off the top of my head. But if you saw that, would that make you believe in ghosts?
No.
So like, what would you think that is? How would you explain that?
They lied. Somebody told the kid to say something.
So if it happened to you, would you believe it?
Yeah. But I don't think it's going to happen to me.
What if I did that shit to you right now?
What do you mean? Like if you saw somebody? No.
Darren.
No.
It's me, your great grandmother.
Fuck, I need to pray to Charles Darwin right now. Oh my God.
I bet Charles Darwin believed in ghosts, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised.
He probably was a Christian person, but
he was very Christian. I know that for sure. Which is kind of odd
he's just a
to
man
think
of his
about.
time. I don't know.
Yeah. It's odd to think about that because it's like those are very conflicting viewpoints now, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you trying to like find an example?
I did.
There's still like a large amount of Christians that believe in evolution. It's like
Yeah.
a weird clash between like science and theology. Where they're
I
like,
get- 'cause I don't think it's inherently
maybe God
contradictory.
just made monkeys, you know?
I don't think there's anything contradictory about it at all,
Yeah.
necessarily. What was the story?
There's a couple that the Google AI gave me, and there's one that was like half reading.
Google AI.
So I'm sorry to like bash Hannah right now, but my girlfriend loves watching this like ghost catching YouTube channel, and they go to just they just go to these abandoned places and they set up cameras and microphones. It's like the shit you would see on like the Sci-Fi Channel when you were a kid, but they actually made like a YouTube career out of it. And like I'm watching this with her while we're like eating Chick-fil-A or something, and I'm like, it's been 40 minutes and nothing has happened.
It's the suspense.
And every single episode is like that.
It's a suspense, Darren.
I mean,
What if they do?
That's
find
how you
it?
know it's real because nothing happens.
Okay, did you prove my point?
I
Then?
don't know if you've seen it. There's a video on YouTube of these guys who find Chris Chan and they go ghost hunting with him.
That's funny.
They like run into a GameStop or something and they go ghost hunting with him.
Do they bring him to like an abandoned asylum or some shit?
Yeah.
I'm surprised I have not seen that.
He's like walking around like trying to talk to the spirits and stuff like that. And they're just like interviewing him while they're doing it.
Are you the OCs of future past?
Sonichu and Rose Chew.
So, some quick stories, real quick, so we can wrap this up. Sam Taylor, born 18 months after the death of his after grandfather's death, Sam's parents details of his grandfather's life that he could not have known through normal means.
So you're telling me nobody talked about the grandfather around?
So that
this
was
kid?
what I'm saying. That was a child. So that I don't know entirely because I also
Yeah.
had that same thought. Okay, James Liniger recalled memories of being a World War II pilot who was shot down. Apparently, if I click on the link, this obviously if they're saying that means he did corroborate a story that happened.
How old
so that
was
was
the kid?
something. They usually say it happens between 2 and 3, and it stops by 6 or 7 when you like start to glimpse into like different lives.
He saw a movie.
Ryan Hammonds recalled memories of being a Hollywood extra and talent agent. They didn't give any more sources up. I'm assuming that they've obviously corroborated that to some degree. And then a child with a rare birth defect made 13 statements about a previous life, 9 of which were correct. The child's birth defect was compatible with the firearm injury that killed his uncle. So I'm guessing he like
Okay, the only one that's like cool is the last one. Everything else is like, oh, a kid can make that up. I don't know.
Have you ever heard like the theory that like scars and birthmarks you have are actually like how you died?
How
in
you
a
died
past
in a
life?
past life.
Yeah,
So I got shot in the cheek.
probably. Yeah, I don't know. I have like one right here on my arm. That's
Got
pretty
bit
much
by
it.
a dog or like a snake or some shit, and you're just
Yeah,
That one guy was a mole on his penis.
the fucking like piranha jumped out and bit his dick. Yeah,
This is a really cool idea though, with like the spiritual side of things and the fact
Yeah.
that like we really did like take that shit heavy. Like motherfuckers were burning people, like doing you would drink piss, throw sage around, do all this weird shit, and then it would just be your son has seizures.
Yeah.
That was it. It was, some really
yeah.
That's crazy to think about.
I remember like growing up, like I'd have friends who were like weren't allowed to celebrate Halloween because they're like, oh,
Devil,
that's-
Satan,
yeah, they're like,
yeah.
oh, it's
Yeah, I had
actually
friends like
worshiping
that
the devil.
too. But then I went to Catholic school when I was a kid, and we just learned about like All Saints Day and Hallows Eve and all that. I was like, but it's a Christian holiday.
Yeah.
So
so you learned
Yeah,
that.
I was
Okay.
like,
Well, I mean, it technically started off as pagan, but then it became
because they
Christian?
wanted to.
well, they
merge
just
it.
combined the 2 days, really,
Yeah.
because yeah.
yeah, because Gaelic and Celtic stuff, it's all pagan essentially.
It worked out, I guess. But that was a thing. I do remember that like experience with like kids,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I don't know. Do you guys feel like? I mean, obviously, no one really thinks of the devil holiday, but do you like understand that sentiment that you could feel so uptight about a holiday that's really just like how John said,
It's just like
candy and spooky shit?
overbearing, protective parents. I mean,
Yeah, because it was. I don't know if you ever saw this John Tron video, but he did a Halloween special. And it was about Christian parents who were against Dungeons and Dragons. And the
Yeah.
Christian parents like rallied together to like fund a movie to like show you the horrors of Dungeons and Dragons. And the protagonist got sent to hell.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck?
in the 90s and like early 2000s, there were all these news anchors that were like up in arms about Doom.
Yeah.
You know,
Satanic Panic.
and I'm
the
like,
game.
bro, it's about killing demons. Hell,
That's so
and-
Christian.
And Doom Guy is Catholic.
Yeah.
Like,
He does this shit all to avenge his pet bunny, bro.
yeah.
I think people just like blow stuff like that out of proportion.
Yeah.
Like they see something that's
It's
like,
really
even
just choosing stuff
slightly
to get
spooky.
angry about.
It's
Like I
cherry
don't
picking.
know why, as a parent, like you'd think kids going around in costumes getting candy is a satanic like pagan thing. You're just like finding something to get worked up and angry about, and you want to make you and your child special, so you exclude them from this like activity.
They just don't like seeing kids walking around like dressed up as the devil or like monsters and stuff.
Most
I guess
kids don't do that. They dress up as like Optimus Prime and like a
Yeah.
ninja and shit. Like
Yeah, I
nobody,
don't
like
know.
no kid really dress up as anything scary.
Yeah.
And if it is, it's like a cheesy horror flick villain they're dressed up as.
Yeah, like Chucky or some shit.
I fuck with haunted houses and stuff. I fuck with candy, all that shit. I don't know. Halloween.
It's just a neat holiday.
Yeah, it's just a fun. It's a spooky
Yeah.
vibe. I like horror
It's,
movies.
it's
so
very unique.
It's
Yeah.
not my favorite holiday, but fall is like my favorite season.
Is
And-
Christmas your favorite holiday?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I think the vibe.
It's hard to trump Christmas.
I think the vibe of Christmas is unmatched. I'm not gonna lie.
It is. You're right.
Like I think the tone is not to slander Halloween on the day, but I think the vibe is just immaculate on Christmas. You know what I'm saying? On Halloween, like I really fuck with Halloween. I like fall is my favorite season, and you know Halloween wraps into all that. But like I fuck with the changing leaves, how it's like a little bit colder,
Pumpkin
and all that
spice.
stuff too. Pumpkin spice is fire.
I love pumpkin.
I tried pumpkin spice like for the first time like last year. That shit changed my world. That's like it's good. I don't know.
I just tried some pumpkin spice Oreos recently. I was like, I'm a fan of these.
That sounds good.
They were pretty good.
I don't know, like the Starbucks drinks, the fucking Dunkin' drink, all stuff's
Pumpkin
good.
pie, bro.
We say?
Pumpkin pie.
You know, I'm actually not a huge fan of pumpkin
I love
pie.
pumpkin pie. I can eat like 2 whole
It's
pumpkin
like-
pies right now.
It's aight. Pumpkin pie is aight.
I've always grown up with sweet potato pie. I'm like so biased, but I could fuck up more sweet potato pies than pumpkin pie.
I don't fuck with sweet potatoes like that.
I love sweet
That's my
potatoes.
thing. That's like
Sweet potatoes, okay, I remember like I've eaten a sweet potato fry on accident thinking it was a normal fry, and I was so disappointed.
I don't like sweet potato fries either because
I threw that shit out instantly. I did not fuck with that. I don't know.
But yeah, no, I can understand the betrayal. That's like the oatmeal cookie in the batch of chocolate chip.
cookies though. That's the thing.
So you wouldn't be like a little pissed off if someone gave you a bag of chocolate chip and there was just one oatmeal. That was just like
I've had so much chocolate chip in my life. I'll spice it up a little bit.
I prefer oatmeal.
Over chocolate chip?
Yeah.
Yo, Darren.
I don't like chocolate. It makes my breath smell bad.
Dog,
Makes my
what?
mouth feel bad.
It's chocolate.
It's not good.
Chocolate's not good.
No, I prefer anything over chocolate.
Dog, you're a grown ass man.
So?
Chocolate's fire, bro.
Yeah, I
What
like
do you mean?
chocolate when I was a kid.
I hated chocolate when I was a kid.
chocolate's my second. Like that's like third. I do vanilla. And
Chocolate's
strawberry.
good for you. Like
Inc-
actually,
Okay, Mr. Beast.
incrementally, It does, not
Actual
really,
chocolate.
it does not make like a huge difference. It incrementally will like, I don't know, decrease your blood pressure or some shit. It's like
God.
it's like how people say drink wine every night. Like, yeah, like maybe it'll drop your blood pressure. when
Oh,
you're
are these
fucking
like the
drunk,
jack off,
but-
like the jerk off people as well? That same type of like
Yeah.
there is some correlation between the activity.
Oh, look, like
and-
dark chocolate is good for your heart. Like, I mean, running is good for your heart. Do that instead. I don't know.
do both, bro. Eat chocolate while running. It's fire.
that sounds like cramps, man.
I don't know. You said you can't eat and then swim. I don't know. That's weird to me.
You
Well,
can't.
you're not supposed to eat and swim.
I've never had a cramp for doing that in my life ever.
Oh, no, I never eat. I haven't had a cramp for doing that either. I just heard that it's bad. But I mean, I've always
Yeah.
like had a snack at the pool. So
Yeah,
It's when you like
exactly.
overexert yourself and your body's digesting while also.
I mean, it's probably
trying
just
to,
like a lot of kids puke after that. So I mean, that's why they say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember he said like he can't swim ever after he eats or whatever. I remember that one time.
I don't know. Maybe
I-
he gets nauseous.
I don't know.
Everyone's different.
I don't know. Don't recall that, but I know that it's just not very comfortable because I have had like cramps running before, and I can imagine like what that would be like swimming.
I feel like you wouldn't feel it as much in the water.
I feel like it would be more because like I sink. I would have to keep moving. Wow, because I don't float, so that would be more of like I'm in pain, and then I have to keep putting myself in pain to not drown.
Imagine dying because he had a cramp because he had a big ass plate of spaghetti before he went for a swim.
That's like
That'd be an awesome way to die,
It's a
dude.
GG, bro.
Like, I mean, it'd probably be painful, but at the same time, I'd be like,
Besides
It's
car
not worth
accidents,
it.
besides car accidents, drowning is like the top cause of like kids dying.
I mean, that
Kids
makes
dying,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, car accidents and children?
Car accidents are number one.
So is it like, do you count children over like 17? Or like infant children, like 12
I guess
and below?
younger than 17. I mean, regardless, car accidents are the biggest killer with like most.
That's what
Asian
I was
demographics.
trying to figure out if children because of like young adults were counted or doing like actual.
Even in young adults, car accidents are like I think the top.
No, I'm saying
fatality.
I was trying to figure out if that was added to that statistic because I was when you said kids, I was thinking like 5-year-olds and like below.
I still think it's car accidents.
I mean, driving is like the most dangerous thing
You can
that
do
anyone
every
does.
single day. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like significantly more dangerous than like riding in an airplane or whatever. People are more scared of
If
riding in an
you
airplane.
if you drive to the airport, you already completed the hardest thing.
That's fair.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think like being afraid of flying is such an irrational fear. Speaking of Halloween and fears, you guys have any like irrational fears you got?
Irrational.
things.
Oh, you have like megalophobia?
Yeah, I do.
That shit makes me uncomfortable, but I think it's cool. It's like a cool kind of
And
uncomfortable.
it is like
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. It's like the feeling of like your heart sinks. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, that's exactly what I feel when I look at that.
Like
shit.
I'm like in awe looking at it, but it does make me like extremely
Uneasy.
uneasy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That and like big wide open spaces.
Oh, so you don't. So you're like opposite of claustrophobic. You don't like too much space.
I do get claustrophobic, but only when there's a lot of, but like from people. I don't get claustrophobic from tight spaces. I get claustrophobic from lots of people.
Okay.
I've had panic attacks from being like in groups of huge
Like a rave
people.
wouldn't be your ideal spot because like you're just packed.
Yes.
Okay, I see. I see.
But like on the exact opposite field of that, if I was like alone in say like a Walmart or a mall or something, like something that's big and wide open that's usually got a lot of people in it, that will also like make me super uneasy and uncomfortable.
Okay, so like backroom stuff, like that, like psychological of knowing people should be here, but there's no people.
Yes.
Okay.
That type of thing also messes with me too.
So when I was a kid, I would have like whenever I had a dream of just something really fucking big, I would wake up just super nauseous and throw up.
Yeah.
Like I would like dream about like these giant fucking tidal waves from like 2012.
Yes.
I think that's where I got megalophobia from, like that movie that I would like throw up. I've had like just like random dreams where there's like a fucking 40-foot water bottle, like just like an ordinary like normal day like average like everyday object, but it's scaled to such like a ridiculous proportion. I wake up and I throw up. Like I just like I don't know. It always made me uneasy.
I watched
in my dreams especially.
I watched this video the other day. And I forget what he called it because I don't know if there's an actual term for this. It was this guy who said he's had this like reoccurring like dream / nightmare over the course of his entire life. And basically what his dream is. So his dream, basically imagine like a white void, like the episode in SpongeBob where Squidward's trapped in the Alone episode. So basically you're just sitting there in a white void with nothing there except for like one tiny like dot, right? That dot just slowly starts to get bigger.
Oh, I've heard of this.
And bigger and bigger and bigger until it's like bigger than you can like actually fathom on your view. And then all of a sudden, like just like that, it'll get small again. And then when it gets small, that's when they'll wake up. Like they'll be fucking like sweating, like all that shit will like freak them out.
And that would freak me out. Like surrealism, shit you can't even comprehend.
Yeah, it's like a dream that will last for like hours.
Yeah.
Like it'll just be like constantly growing for like hours. Yes.
Yeah. I would say like a rational. How rational you define it as like, you know, within reason that it shouldn't scare you, but it scares you anyway, irrational, or just like...
Yes. Like for me, like I have a fear of heights. I think it's irrational.
I don't think a fear of heights is irrational.
That's probably one of the biggest killers of people.
I have a fear of heights. I think it's a rational fear. Rational. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The other three things I listed, I think it's probably more irrational, but that
because they're unrealistic.
Yeah,
exactly. If you saw like a 20 or 50-foot tidal wave, you'd be shitting.
Yeah. Like anyone that's rational. Yeah.
But I guess like seeing a 60-foot water bottle isn't the reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really want to go see like those statues of like the people that are like
the Abe Lincoln Memorial.
Like in India, they have that
like the world's tallest statue and shit like that. Yeah,
ginormous.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
It's fucking huge. It's like you're not even the size of like the toe.
Yeah.
Just because they can make it, they made it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like in honor of some king or something, I think. So I remember very vividly. There's this one time when I was like 7 or 8, maybe. I went to Florida with my family, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was like looking around. My dad wasn't like in his bed or whatever. We're in a hotel room. My dad wasn't in his bed, and I was like looking around trying to find him or whatever. My mom was still asleep. I walk over to like a patio, right? Because like I'm like trying to find him. My dad's on the patio. He's just like staring over at the water. It's like midnight, like 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever. My dad's just like staring out at the water, like looking at the waves or whatever the fuck. I go out there. I for some reason I remember in my head like this probably isn't how it happened. But like he doesn't turn to me. He's just like still looking out of the ocean, right? And like he's just looking out. He's looking out, and I'm like sitting there, like I'm like, hey, like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And like we start talking about like existential stuff. Are you showing on the statue?
I don't like that. I really
What's it called?
I don't even think this is a real thing.
That looks like a siren head type creature. It just
I looked at world's biggest statue. It was not this. I think this is Photoshop, but still, like
that is very.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't like.
No, that is it.
It's not real.
That is real.
No, this is the Is that real though?
Yes, it's a statue.
Okay, well, it's not the biggest statue in the world apparently.
But that is a real statue. Yes,
it is. Okay, but the biggest statue is this thing.
I don't like that either.
Like this is actually like
yes,
you're like probably a fifth tall of like the toe.
Yeah.
Imagine being like some wary traveler in like a post-apocalyptic world, and like it's kind of like hazy. There's a lot of dust from like the nuclear explosions, and then in the distance you think you see a mountain, and then you see a man, and then you see this fucking humongous.
Yeah.
Nah.
But I remember like vividly from this memory, right? Like we start talking about like some existential shit. I'm like 7 or 8 at this point. I'm like confused. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And like meanwhile, like I see the waves, right? You know, like you'll see like the waves crashing or whatever, right? I see like this giant wave like on the horizon, right? Like getting closer and getting closer and getting closer. And I never see it crash. It just keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming. And it never crashes. Eventually, like after talking to my dad, like the entire time talking to him, I end up like looking this wave, waiting for it to come. Thinking back now, it's just like the horizon line. That's all it was. There wasn't actually a wave there. But the entire time I'm talking to him, I think there's this wave in the distance because it's like dark. It's like 12 in the morning or whatever. And then I remember like eventually, like after our conversation, I just like go lay down and go to sleep and I'm freaked out. Like I think this is an actual tsunami that's coming and it's going to like wipe us out and like the world's about to end or something
And
crazy.
like you just went to sleep thinking it's going to be okay. You're just like, fuck.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, I can't do anything about it. I was going to sleep.
Yeah.
It was the same thing like with the 2012 stuff. I always thought it was like super dumb.
What happened in 2012 then?
Like everyone says it's going to be the end of the world.
Oh, that did happen again in 2012. I forgot.
Yeah, like everyone said it was going to be the end of the world. And I remember like, I was like, oh, it's nothing. I don't care about it. Until like the night before it was supposed to happen. And then I remember that night, I was like,
Eve?
It wasn't New Year's Eve. It was a specific day.
Oh, okay.
It was December 21st was the day it was supposed to happen. I remember that. I remember like the night before it was supposed to happen. I was like, all of a sudden I was like, oh shit. I like this super rational feel like maybe it is going to happen. Fuck. Like I couldn't sleep that night at all.
Like your main character mode like clicks in and like just shit.
I was like, wait, should I have done something? Like, should I have like robbed a bank or something? Like, should I just live my life?
Day.
Like, oh my God, no, what'd I do?
Yeah, I get that. But for me, like, this is gonna sound really stupid now that like we've just like actual like eldritch existential horrors. I used to have like the biggest phobia of like vampires. So I was like 12. And by that, I mean like I would sleep with the covers over them. I would sleep like a fucking human cocoon every night because I did not like the sensation of like wind or anything cold on my neck because it made me feel like they were going to get me.
Specifically vampires?
So
not just like monsters in general, like
real?
vampires.
Dude, so I hated that sensation so much. And it just like when my dreams would be filled with like this idea of me cause like, I don't know if you guys do, but I feel things in my dreams.
Yeah.
Like I've been stung by like animals. I'll feel like wasps.
Like when I pee in my dreams.
I mean, you feel that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like things that aren't. I mean, like I've been like attacked by like wasps and stuff in my dreams. I felt like the buzzing. Like I would like my brain was so convinced it was real shit like that. And so as a kid, like I would just be super tripped out of like the sensation of like something because I was always scared of needles too. So that sensation of being like drained alive I feel like would freak me the fuck out.
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course.
Exactly. So like when I felt cold wind, like it just like triggered that fight or flight, but it would affect me in my dreams. So my dreams would just be like nightmares. So like just to like I'll just be warm.
But did you actually think vampires were real up until that point?
Psychologically, like I was so uncomfortable. Like I like you know how like it's not real, but like doing the thing and then like how you felt like on Y2K every night when I would go to sleep, it was like I know they're not real, but
you know vampires are based on a real thing, right?
Like a what?
There were stories of like back in the day, like 1800s or whatever, like they're based on a real thing where people would like wake up and graves would be robbed. The bodies would still be there, but they would have like holes drained or something like that.
Oh, they took the blood.
Yeah, like fresh bodies that were just put in there.
Oh yeah,
they would like take the jugular vein and just drain the blood.
Yeah,
probably like medical doctors because they were doing illegal science back then. But
yeah,
I mean,
but that's what they're based on.
Yeah,
stuff like that. Same thing like chupacabra, like it's based on a real thing and stuff too.
Yeah, it was some random animal that got like drained by a little rat dog, something.
There's a dog with mange, but I don't think that was actually like puncturing the animals. I think it was like a crazy person. Oh, that was like going around like draining.
And the dog just helped corroborate his story.
Yeah, he's like, oh my god, it's a fucking chupacabra! Holy shit! It's like that's just a dog, dude. You know.
So where's the blood gone? Well, it's because that guy over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. It was just like I knew it wasn't real. And then like around 12, I like, you kind of you talk yourself out. I was like, dude, I'm 12. I can't be like, and so I just kind of got over it. But like for like when I was really young, like 6, 7, like prime fear. Oh, I hated that shit. I slept like a cocoon. Could not like stand that sensation.
Sometimes I'll still like be careful about having my arm over the edge because I remember hearing that story of like you know that one story where it's like they saw someone break out of an insane asylum or whatever.
And they licked their hands like there was a dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. God.
Do you know that one?
No, but that just sounds terrifying.
A girl
like
had a pet dog. He ate the dog. And so
every night this lady would like have her hand over the bed and let the dog lick her hand. Then this one night after someone broke out of an asylum, she did that and the dog licked her hand. Woke up the next morning, found out the dog was like mutilated and hid in the closet in the other room. It was like the person from the insane asylum licked her hand in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just imagine waking up in the middle of the night. There's just like this demented person going like on your foot, like Mort with the toes and that one animation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like God.
I've always thought sometimes about like you think you see your dog, but then like as you get closer, you see it's actually just a person sitting there.
Oh, like a horror thing, like when they see like the clowns or whatever, like those toys sitting on the dresser, and you think it's something else.
Like your dog sitting there?
Like I've seen like videos of stuff of people explaining situations where like they saw their dog and they got closer. They saw it was like a person sitting there like in a dog's position and shit like that.
Were they dreaming? What like scenario was this in?
This is like a horror story and stuff like that. It wasn't like an actual thing. But like I'm just like imagine like like a werewolf, like just a fucking like dog the size of a grown ass dude
That's
sitting
just like
there
it's
like
just
that.
the meme of the wolf sitting at the tree.
Oh God, he just like me.
Y'all have anything else with those? Because I think that's really like everything else. I feel like I've had a rational fear of. Like I don't like loud, violent noises like gunshots because I'm going to duck and run and hide. I feel like that's not irrational.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind swimming in the ocean. I just would never swim in any dark spots of the ocean.
What is the most irrational fear you've heard of?
Ooh.
I think clowns are honestly a pretty rational fear.
I think that's because they're still
Irrational?
people.
Rational. I
No,
think
'cause
clowns
they're
are pretty
people.
rational
They're
fear.
people. And there's
I mean, they look creepy though. That's the
Yeah.
No, I said I'm saying that's the part that's the fear. That's a rational fear because they are people. You know they can do something regardless
okay,
of what
okay, I
they
see what you
are.
mean. Yeah.
What- What's that one where it's like a fear of big words?
Oh, I know.
Automano quadrilipa monstrata. There's this
Really?
Really?
Fuck,
Something like
what a
that.
fucking
An
dickhead
asshole.
thing to do.
Yeah.
They named like the phobia. They make it a big word.
I think it's the biggest word or second biggest word.
Yeah. They're like,
fucking
I'm
dick.
sorry, I diagnosed you with.
I mean, they're probably laughing to ask because those like they can't pronounce it. So I have a fear of big words. What's
Don't say it.
hippopotamonstrata quipa pedalipophobia?
The one I've never really understood is like the trypophobia, like the fear of holes.
Oh, I was just thinking that. Like, I know there's like the fear of the holes, like a honeycomb
I
or
feel like
something.
that's like if it's on human skin, I would be tripped out. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
lie.
but I mean, like, if they just look at a beehive and they get scary, I mean, that's pretty irrational.
I don't know. Like I've
think
never
that's-
understood it. Like I don't get like what's wrong.
I think
with
on
it.
human skin, but everything else is in nature.
I mean, that's because human skin's not supposed to be
exactly.
like that.
So yeah. So like, I've only.
Yeah,
got
it's just because it's weird.
Yeah, but I mean, people who like just look into honeycombs and feel uneasy. I mean, I guess I get that, but
I mean, because they're a bee. There could be a bee, but like.
well, yeah, but then
That's
you're
not
afraid
why
of
they're
the,
scared of it,
but you're afraid of the bee, not like the shapes.
They're danger shapes. I don't. Yeah, yeah. The fear of holes is. I guess that's a weird one, but I've only seen like the cringe stuff, like cringe, but like the one that's supposed to gross you out. But like realistically, if you're just scared of like a lot of holes, like if you look at like a cliff coast or some
I think
shit,
it's the pattern. I guess.
is it pattern holes or just holes in general? Or like if I were to just like
I think it's supposed to be like a lot of holes.
like if I
don't
look
think
at
it's, like, a
Swiss
specific
cheese,
pattern.
am I like shit my pants? Like
I've heard of like people having irrational fears of like polka dots or stripes or something like that before too.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. I see that like in cartoons though. I never.
Yeah,
Really,
maybe
It's
that's
a real thing though.
yeah.
maybe like the
There's,
seizure causing. I know like maybe like certain patterns can invoke that. Maybe
I
that's
don't
the
think
brain.
it's like because they're seizure related or anything. Though.
I'm just saying like maybe there's but
I
don't
wonder
know.
what in your head gives you those fears.
Which part
Is
of your
that- is that
brain
cons-
responses to fear.
Darren, is that
I'm
considered
curious.
a mental illness?
What is?
If you have like an irrational fear, like a phobia, is that a mental
Only
illness?
if it gets in the way of like your everyday duties.
Well, technically, that's what a phobia is, right? Is something
No,
that's like
a phobia is just an irrational fear because I mean,
Really?
a lot of things. I mean, like a lot of irrational like phobias you don't come across on a daily basis, like unless it. I don't know.
So if
Does that make
someone
sense?
has like trypophobia or whatever, right? And it is debilitating, what would that be like mental illness wise?
I think they would just classify it as an anxiety disorder.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's probably
Yeah.
closer to that.
Because I mean, some phobias can fall under an anxiety disorder, but some can't.
Because I was gonna say, I almost think
if you're
that's OCD.
like if you're afraid of oh, yeah, I guess it could be associated with OCD.
Yeah.
too. But there's probably an underlying cause for those phobias. Then
Hmm.
it depends on the person, kind of thing. But I mean, a fear of big words.
Okay, so
I don't know if that on its own is like a mental illness.
I feel like it has to be. I'm sorry. No offense, but
and maybe it caused you anxiety because you try to spell it or count all the letters. I don't fucking know. But okay, so the amygdala is the part of your brain that deals with processing fear. It's almond shaped,
Yeah.
and then it plays the role of regulating anxiety, aggression, emotional memory, and social cognition. Emotional memory sounds interesting. Like it remembers feelings. So I guess that's probably the best way to describe like memories is how you felt at that day. Maybe you'll mix around the details, but how when someone like says something that offended you, you may not be able to remember what they said, but you remember how you felt.
yeah.
So I that kind of makes sense. You want to store those because that also is like survival. Maybe you ate a fruit and it made you really sick. Your amygdala is like, no, don't eat that shit again. It's going to kill you type shit.
Okay.
Because you would feel that fear or like, okay, that made me very uncomfortable. So it'd want to store that so you could learn. But I could also see this also playing into like how we always talk about like motivation and failure. It could also be that same part of your brain that's like stopping you because there's this memory bank of all these like failures associated with this one event. And then every time like you come to the same like checkpoint.
Well, the amygdala doesn't store information. It's just responsible for like the feeling of all of that.
Emotions.
Yeah,
So-
emotions. It like regulation of emotions.
Well,
Like if you
describe
have
it?
like a fucked up amygdala, like you just won't feel fear, but you're not gonna like stop remembering things.
No, I wasn't saying like that. I was saying closer to like more of
Yeah.
like the emotion of how you don't want to do something. That this is where like it regulates that like maybe you want to do something, maybe you don't, based on how much fear juice it pumps you with.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
I found numerophobia, which is classified as a
Do you have numbers?
I mean yes, but it's also a mathematics anxiety disorder.
Oh, so like, maybe like kids who like your parents like you should understand this math. Now
Yeah.
you just like you really can't deal with it because you're so fucking stressed.
But they actually they just call it mathematics anxiety disorder.
I mean that would make you anxious. A lot of numbers, a lot of carrying.
Phobophobia,
Vobe.
fear of balloons, nomophobia, fear of without having a phone.
That's fake.
Does it say?
That's fake.
No, that's
Believe
real.
That's real. That's absolutely
fake.
real.
You can't be scared of not having a phone. They've all been out for like 20 years.
Kibutyrophobia, fear of peanut butter. Specifically, fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth.
Choking?
Why the fuck do they make a word for
I was
that?
like, maybe choking?
I mean, there has to be enough people for there to be a.
God.
I feel like you
word
have
for
to
it.
choke on it. That's the only thing you could be scared of. Like that sensation of like it might like, glob back there. Cause like
Pediophobia.
pedio, what does that
It's
mean?
like feet.
No, fear of children.
Not Diddy.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
Couldn't be anybody in Hollywood right now.
exactly. So like, that sounds like you wish that would be a disease with more of these Hollywood
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio would be like, oh, 25, get away from me.
Chitophobia, fear of hair.
Would I just be bald?
Phobophobia, the fear of
fear.
phobias.
That's so silly.
I'm scared of stop talking. Ah.
Like, what does that even mean? Like, what is a fucking fear of phobias?
You have to. Like, I'm an empath, and I feel your fears. So
Yeah,
please
what?
don't talk to
I
them
guess you
about.
get scared of seeing other people scared. What the?
Yeah, I guess some people do panic when other people panic. I've seen that
mean,
happen.
that's true,
Yeah,
but-
so maybe that's like they're scared of your fear because they're like, what the fuck is going on?
That's a normal human reaction, though.
So
I wouldn't consider that a phobia.
maybe they can't help react, but in a fearful way, like they even if the person's like maybe not.
Oh, it's a phobia out of the possibility of developing a phobia. That's what that is.
Paranoia?
So it's like the fear of developing an irrational fear.
they did develop an irrational fear.
Yeah,
I mean, they're right.
people
They
need
did their
help.
job.
You literally just fucking Uno reverse card yourself. You literally had the keys of success.
Oh my
and
God, what is this?
What is it?
Anti-phobia is the irrational fear that somewhere a duck or goose is watching you.
That's not real. Someone made that up.
No, that's just real, dude.
Someone got their doctor buddy to make them up, like to like give them a fake fear. There's no way in hell the goose from Untitled Goose Game is stalking and hunting your ass down. Like
That's why it's irrational.
I thought a phobia is irrational. Irrational, right?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
rational.
Irrational, yeah.
It's like gang stalking and stuff. Like that's all like just irrational fears.
That's rational. Gang stalking?
That's not rational.
A gang?
Thinking everyone is out there
Out to get
watching
you.
Oh, I
you.
thought
Yeah,
you
it's
meant
like
like-
very schizo posting
Oh, I
stuff.
thought you meant like actually like being around gangs and thinking you can. Oh
No,
no,
it's someone who's like living in the suburbs, thinking all of a sudden that they are being watched.
it's like the deep
nonstop.
state and shit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you
It's
meant
like they're like, oh
okay.
no, every car around me is following me at all times.
Everyone's a part of the deep state. They're all out to get me.
My husband and my husband or wife is like out to get me. Like they're in on it. Like
My
Those
daughter
people, yeah,
has
yeah,
copper
yeah.
wires under her skin. I must harvest the copper wires and sell them to the homeless people. Like,
the homeless people are the only ones who have escaped the deep state.
yeah,
They're off the
they're
grid.
imprisoned by the deep state.
Okay, holy schizo. Yeah, that's yeah. Okay, gang
Yeah.
stalking, new thing.
Yeah.
Gylophobia, fear of laughter. Oh my God, what a sad life you live. Sorry.
Okay,
No, wait. I have one more. I'm so sorry. Coprastasophobia, the fear of constipation.
I mean, that's a valid fear.
I don't think that's a phobia.
I think that's just you not eating well or something.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't like pass a stool for like 3 days, I'd be pretty scared too.
I don't want to go out like Elvis, please.
Was it because he couldn't shit or he shat too much? I thought he shat too much. How did?
Probably both.
He was on the toilet, so like, that's why. Yeah, he died on the toilet.
Wait, have I told you about my dream about Elvis before?
No.
Yes, you have, but you tell us everyone.
Yeah, I don't think you've heard the dream, Darren. So, one time I describe it as a nightmare. It's not even a dream. So this is back when I was in like elementary school, right? Wait, no, it's about Martin Luther King. That's what it was. It's my Martin Luther King dream. Okay, so I had a dream about Martin Luther King, right? So basically, in my Martin Luther King dream, I was sitting there and I was like, okay, I have to do a school project on Martin Luther King or something. So what I did was I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to my dad. I'm gonna ask how Martin Luther King died. I went to my dad and I asked him how he died. He says, wait, you don't know? You don't know how Martin Luther King died? I was like, no, what the fuck? And he goes downstairs, he like rummages through all these like cabinets and stuff trying to find it. And he whips out this old VHS from the 80s, right? And he puts it in the TV and he starts playing it. And he's like, watch very closely. Is Martin Luther King giving like this address to a crowd of people. Like you see like cameras going off, like they're taking pictures of him. Like he's basically just giving like a public speech, right? But while he's doing this, Martin Luther King's sitting on the toilet, right? So every once in a while during the speech, he's like, all right, everyone, I love you all. He like every once in a while he'd like try to shit, and you'd hear like maybe like a little plop or something. Like he wouldn't actually like see anything crazy. And every once in a while he'd keep doing this, until all of a sudden you see him go. He starts like screaming, and you see like his fucking intestines and heart fall out of his ass and splash all over the place, and blood's flying all over the place. And the person holding the camera like drops the camera and all like cuts off in static. And my dad turns to me, he's just like, "That's how he died."
This is the dream. Your dad didn't actually say that, right?
No, this is my dream.
Okay.
And I wake up in a fucking cold sweat. Like I think for a little while I thought that's how Martin Luther King died. Like I was like,
you've been shown the prophecy.
I was like, no way, my dad showed this to me. I promise you.
He was not shot by some random guy. He shat himself to death.
Because I heard how Elvis died, and because of that, like I had a dream about Martin Luther King dying the same way. I don't know why.
It's not the same way Elvis died.
He actually died for a heart attack, but the true cause could not be determined because he was fat and did a lot of drugs.
He was on like fucking 30 drugs at the time.
Yeah, a lot of prescription drugs.
Yeah.
I don't think they were prescription, but
some of them were.
Maybe
not his prescription.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
Small superstar thread. Do you know that Michael Jackson had an incident related to Diddy? Basically, he got fucked up trying to record something, and it was with Diddy's help. Basically, Diddy got him to do something. He did a bad recording. He got fucked up through the pain and got addicted to pain meds. And because he got addicted to pain meds from that thing he did with Diddy, he ended up taking sleeping meds, and that's what ultimately led to his death.
Addiction.
Yes, it may not have been the part of his death, but that's how he got part of his addiction, and so that was a key part, and Diddy was involved with it.
I believe that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Diddy's just been knocking everybody. It's a very crazy. I'm wearing his uniform. I want to say I'm wearing. Okay,
I'm wearing his uniform.
He's going to be wearing one of these uniforms.
He is right now. He's in jail, as far as I know.
Oh well, yeah, it's a matching fit, but like we're not matching crimes. I'm the Crimson Stain. I'm just
like Diddy right now. Of course.
No. Dude, I'm Diddy for Halloween.
No, where's my baby?
Have you seen? Okay, there was like
I should have brought baby. Oh, actually, that was too dark.
Kiara was telling me about like a trend on TikTok is going around where people will dress up as Diddy for Halloween, and it'll be like a couple's costume where it's like Diddy and Justin Bieber as the outfits.
Oh no!
And they like take pictures of like Justin Bieber crying in the shower and shit. Like it's really fucked up. I was like,
awful.
that's not.
I was like, that's not even funny. Why the fuck would you do that?
Like, Bieber and Usher, they had nothing. Come on, man. That's just. That's a little mean spirited. Like you could make fun of Diddy and like I don't know
have someone be like Diddy and baby oil or something. Why are you gonna get Justin Bieber?
That would have been fine. Like anything that was like him being a weird freak would have been like.
Why are you dressing up like Diddy to begin with? Out of everyone to dress up, I get it's like
a monster. It's a monster.
It's seasonal.
I guess it's like ha funny or whatever.
People just with Jeffrey Dahmer and other killers though. He's based on their. He's already hit their status.
That's weird too. I feel like you shouldn't be dressing up as Dahmer either. That's odd. I don't know. Like dressing up as a fucking pedophile is weird. I'm sorry.
No, that's.
Oh wow, guys! I'm dressed up like Jared Fogle for Halloween.
I was thinking the same thing. I was about to say that.
Okay, but that might actually make me kind of ironic. Hold on,
it's like couples just you got one person is Jared Fogle, the other one's the foot long or some shit.
Oh, you're gonna say the other one's a kid.
No,
Aaron.
That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
There's some scary ass people out here, man.
It is a scary Halloween costume.
No, it is. It's fucking.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's too real. So speaking of Diddy, I had a little horror story about Diddy.
Oh, I gotta hear it.
It's one of those like okay, so it's a very short story.
Okay.
And then the genie asks for my third wish. I said, Genie, it's two sentences, sorry. And then the genie asked for my third wish, period. No, comma. I wish for a party, I said, period. In front of me, thousands of bottles of baby oil appeared.
I have a couple stories of my own. Darren, you pass me the laptop or wherever you have all the stories pulled up.
Oh, I thought you were using that laptop. Sorry.
No, you're good. I don't think this one's connected to the internet.
That is... Baby oil is gonna like make its way in like meme culture so soon. It's gonna be just like one.
It's already in meme culture.
I'm saying like it's gonna be like
it's gonna be a thing forever now.
It's gonna be like it's gonna be into like our language now. That's what I meant.
Diddy is going to be in our language for a while now.
Yeah, no Diddy, but
no Diddy, no Diddy. Like she's like
oil freak offs.
Freak off is probably gonna stick around for a while too.
When do you because I watched this like YouTuber who does like etymology. When do you think it's gonna stop being negative and start being more like people say it ironically at parties?
Diddy?
No, freak offs.
Oh,
because that's like
I hopefully never.
No, I'm saying, but it that's how like when people used to say like bitch and shit, like they would say it to mean a certain thing and then it changes into more like a different meaning. Bitch originally meant female dog, now it means like a bitch. So
I mean, think of how the word freak has evolved. Just the word freak
or goon.
Yeah,
goon is wine, like a wine thing. I found out originally.
Really?
Yeah, it's like gooning is like a type of wine.
When I think of goon, I think of like a henchman.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a wine thing too, but that was like the because there's a Reddit for gooning.
Think of the word edgelord. What that meant 10 years ago as compared to now. like that word has changed a ton.
I'm an edgelord.
No, you're right. That's what I was saying. So Freak Off right now has this Diddy thing. I'm thinking maybe like strip clubs or like any type of like place where like debauchery in the future will start using Freak Off in more of like a ironic term or something.
Would you like to purchase our $90 Freak Off package?
That's so fucking awful.
You get 50 minutes with 5 girls. Go crazy.
Enjoy your Freak Off. Here's your free Freak Off sticker.
And he gives her like 2 bottles of baby oil and just lets them off.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so on TikTok every once in a while I see these videos, right? Shout out the TikTok user. It's fucking Offlane. That's his name, right? So I see these all the time. So I compiled a couple of different stories that I've heard over time, right? So all very short. There are multiple on here for you, right?
All right, let's spit some bars.
All right, fellas. A naked man fears no pickpocket. That wasn't until they meet the poop stealer guy. When the gang of men approached her, she couldn't call out for help because she was inside the library. Are you a normal birthday party clown? Said the mother. Yes, said the Diddy clown.
The Diddy clown? Oh, you're just going to say scary clown.
That's scary. That's scarier than the scary clown.
I was locked in a room with Freddy Fazbear. Let's just say, now I'm pregnant. I had a great time fingering my anus until someone bit my finger inside from
That's
anus.
actually pretty scary. That was probably the scariest one.
How was that the scariest one at all?
So far.
Somebody bit my finger inside of my own asshole. Like, how was that?
You have a vestigial twin and they're mad that you disturbed
He has
their
a
rest.
fear of vestigial twins biting his finger when he fingers his butthole late at night.
I mean, it's a very real fear for him. I don't know. Kevlar vest can potentially stop a bullet, but nothing can save you from liquid shit cannon.
No, nothing can.
I leans in to kiss my girlfriend. To my horror, there is no girlfriend, and I leaned into active wood chipper.
That's so bad.
Your mom has 206 bones in her body. Now 207. Now 206. Now 208. Now 224.
In parentheses, your mom is a whore.
I killed the guy as usual. My face went to horror as I realized I killed the guy that kills you if you kill him guy.
That just may hurt my brain.
I was in home play Xbox when mom calls and say, no McDonald's tonight. Then skin crawler come in room and say, I have McBurger.
That's not scary. You get the burger.
I know the skin crawler hooks you up. That's a real one.
After rubbing the lamp, I wished for $1 million. The genie shuddered as I fucked every single deer in front of him.
Oh my god.
I'm just thinking of the Aladdin genie. He like asks his wish.
I imagine Will Smith's genie just going like,
just a look of horror as like you just.
All right. This is the last one I got on you.
Okay.
Eminem once saw a kid at school not stand ups for the national anthem. He then went over and kicked him out of his wheelchair. To his horror, he then got canceled by the evil Gen Z Mibra.
Mibra?
I'm surprised it's 2 sentences.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That was pretty. Yeah, that was some words.
That one was 3. That one was 3 sentences. That was the only one on there.
Yeah.
Technically, they're not 2-sentence horror stories. They're just like try not to get scared challenges.
This one's a classic. I wonder if you guys can guess where this one is from. This is like one of my personal favorites. All right, here we go. There was a haunted house where every night a bloody head fell down the chimney. At least that's what people said. So nobody would stay there overnight. Then a rich man offered $200 to whoever would do it. And this boy said he would try if he could have his dog with him. So it was all settled.
Scooby-Doo?
The very next night, the boy went to the house with his dog. To make it more cheerful, he started a fire in the fireplace. Then he sat in front of the fire and waited, and his dog waited with him. For a while, nothing happened. But a little after midnight, he heard someone singing softly and sadly out in the woods. The singing sounded something like this. Me tai do ti walker.
Oh, I know this one.
It's just somebody singing, the boy told himself. But he was frightened. Then his dog answered the song softly, and sadly it sang, Li chi kin chi kali mali dingo. So obviously the boy started freaking the fuck out. The boy could not believe his ears. His dog had never uttered a word before. Then a few minutes later, he heard the singing again. Now it was closer and louder, but the words were the same. Me tai do ti walker. This time, the boy tried to stop his dog from answering. He was afraid that whoever was singing would hear it and come after them. But his dog paid no attention again and answered the call. A half an hour later, the boy heard the singing again. Now it was in the backyard, and the song was the same. Again, the boy tried to keep his dog quiet, but he couldn't stop his dog from uttering those cursed words louder than ever before. Soon, the boy heard the singing again, and it was coming down the chimney. Me tai do ti walker. The dog sang back, and suddenly, a bloody head fell down the chimney. It missed the fire and landed right next to the dog. The dog took one look and fell over, dead from fright. The head slowly turned and stared at the boy. It slowly opened its mouth and That was the end of the story.
It's gonna clip, dude.
Oopsie.
Screaming into the mic.
It's for immersion.
That's a classic.
That's one of my favorite of all time.
I always like the lady more.
The one with the spiders?
The fat lady.
Yeah, that's the one with the spiders.
That's a different one.
Oh, the white one? The pale fat one? Oh, her.
Yeah. I just liked her design.
Her design is really fucking fire.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is such a goated.
That is where
trilogy.
the story is from. Yeah,
that
Scary
shit's
Story.
fire.
That shit was my entire childhood.
Yeah.
And like to this day, like the art style they use is like the fact that it was scary for me as a kid, it's still like creepy and uncanny now as an adult. Like they were doing something.
Well, it's
with
been
those.
out for such a long time too. Like it was in school when our parents were in school.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it was
my
pretty
dad
old.
read it in school.
Yeah, because it's based off of like folklore and shit. So these are just real stories, and like the fact that like the art is like captured. Like do you remember the one with like that weird floating fetus in the sky?
Yeah.
Like there's like
I like no idea what the fuck you guys are talking about.
I'll
You've
show you.
never read Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
No.
That shit's fire, dude.
Hopefully, I'm gonna send some pictures and posts because they're actually like they're really interesting. To the fact that these were in like children's schools. Like
Yeah.
hold on, let me just show you.
It was like by far like the scariest stuff you'd ever read in like a school library. Like all they had,
Straight
like,
up.
all these like super well illustrated like drawings of everything. It's just super uneasy. I guarantee you've seen like pictures of this.
You've
stuff
never
before.
seen this one.
Never seen that.
Okay,
Really?
This is from the lady who got trapped in the trunk and died.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are fucking. Let me see if I can find the girl.
It's just the pale lady.
Pale lady. Okay, let me search.
I think she's like the most popular one.
it's the scarecrow guy. That's the most popular.
Oh,
one.
because he's on the cover.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
This shit was creepy as fuck when I first
seen
saw
that.
this. Like her, like
She does like
she's
she's like a fucking titan from AOT.
She does.
yeah, but like this is before AOT even came out. Like she was just built.
There's a movie based on all this stuff too. It came out a
made
couple
it
years ago.
recently, Yeah. Yeah, recently. It was a couple years ago. They
Yeah.
said they were going to make a second one, but like, I don't know.
I
if
doubt
that's
it. I
ever
don't think it made a lot of money.
Was it good?
I liked it.
The movie was
it was
aight.
it was pretty original. It was pretty true to the story of the books. They threw like 4 or 5 stories in there and like gave you what you came for.
They turned like an anthology book into something where they tried to like connect.
They did a better Goosebumps. You know how Goosebumps was like
it's basically how
they did a better Goosebumps. Like all the stories hit. They actually had like people do like they had actual contortionists do some of the demon monsters in the movie. So like when the creature started like moving weird, that was a real person. So they actually could make those movies.
I want to watch it now.
I'll watch it.
I could do a Halloween movie thing like marathon. I'm down for that.
No, I'm sick. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm sick.
Can I see the Scarecrow?
Huh?
Yeah.
What Scarecrow?
The Scarecrow from Scary Stories.
The one you said that was the most iconic?
He's like, He's like, wait, no, that never existed. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. I guess.
The Scarecrow became real and he forgot about it.
Harold, I think his name was. That is.
I have seen that.
Yeah. Which one?
I have seen that.
Yeah.
That's the most iconic one. Like everyone has seen this one.
It's like I don't remember where I've seen it, but I know I've seen it.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised you haven't even seen the stuff in like memes and everything before.
No.
They weren't very memed upon early. It was all. I think when
It's
the
more
movie
recent,
came back out, it was when they came out with those. All right. What's the scary story?
All right. So I like Christmas a lot. So
Valid.
I kind of like base this off of like how you would tell a Christmas story.
Okay.
I gotta take the glass. I can't really read with those on.
And you wrote this.
Yeah, I wrote this.
Sheesh.
All right. It's called Adverse Effects by Darren J.
I know that guy.
On a dark Hallows Eve, while the kids were out trick-or-treating and the college students were out partying, and the boys laid at home pondering. Wondering as to why they had no one to spend the holiday with, the boys were disgruntled. Why did no one like them? Must be because of my hairline, John mumbled. Alfonso then said something questionable. Darren, do you have anything that will make us irresistible, to make us less miserable? Please. Right now we need a miracle. Darren then responded, medicine is not to be trifled with. These doses are hard to dial, and they're not all that delightful. Some can even make you suicidal.
Oh, no.
Darren then continued with his lecture.
But it's for the
I study medicine so I can be a protector. Hopefully, you come to understand this conjecture. Now I'm off to bed. Don't do anything stupid. Let's not get too deluded. Maybe next year we can find someone and feel included. Alfonso was upset. Nah, this is bullshit. Who cares if he doesn't permit? How about we make our own verdict? Then the two then scrounged through his storage, where they found a vial that was orange, full of pills they could forage. Aha, John said. He was very delighted. The look on Alfonso's face also implied he was excited. The two were ready. They each gulped a pill. For their wish, they would fulfill. But at a cost, for this verapamil would not bring much of a thrill. I already feel so much stronger, these words John would utter. This night, we will conquer. Alfonso was just as excited. He was feeling quite enlightened, but then his eyes started to widen. His skin became clammy and shriveled up as he realized John was looking uncanny. John then looked in the mirror. The sheer sight made him shiver. Then, all of a sudden, he tasted something bitter as the lining of his mouth began to fissure. His teeth had become blackened. Not much later, they became unattached and hit the floor. They realized what had happened. As he shrieked, his voice was super hoarse. He looked to his feet to only see a ton of warts, surrounded by drooping skin that would only distort the usual shape of his figure. Alfonso was not in much of a better picture, as the state of his body was also quite the thriller. A camel's hump is the best way to describe the state of his back. It was so crooked he could see his ball sack. A sight so grueling it can make anybody yak. Now out back, John's fingers became fused, and his face badly bruised. They were so unbelievably screwed. How would anybody want to be associated with freaks of this magnitude? Not only were the changes physical, for they also had a change within their own skull. Their brains were so fucked a lobotomist wouldn't consider this ethical. Only one thing was obvious from changes this biophysical. It is super critical that medications only be used in settings that are clinical. For adverse effects are a dangerous thing. For life-changing these things and substances may bring. Don't end up like these fools on the floor puking. Spend the time with the friends you do have and keep your head up, King.
Yo, Eminem is shaking in his boots. I need him to respond when he see.
Yo, that was hard. That shit had a moral. That shit had everything. That's crazy. God. Bro, even calling out my hairline. That was awesome, dude. That was the scariest thing in there.
Not me looking at my own ball sack with my home. Like, that's what I see forever now.
God, that was hard. Good job, Darren. I fuck with that. You should write children's books.
I should. This would be a great children's book.
Bars. Yeah. Wow. What a very fun time this was. I'm like, damn, bro. Halloween is such a fun time to like get into like the spooky mind. So I really like, I think like I think this is like one of my favorite holidays. Like it's somewhere between Christmas and Halloween. Christmas, you do spend time with your family and stuff like that, but Halloween always just has like an air of, I don't want to say mischief, but like a mystifying sense to it, you know?
Do y'all have a favorite horror movie?
Right now, probably Terrifier. Well,
Really?
All Hallows Eve specifically. I like the anthology where Art the Clown was more of like the tie into the real world. But like the Terrifier series so far has been. I'm a slasher guy. Like I like creative ways of killing people would have been like one of the coolest things. Because I used to grow up hearing my mom watch like crime shows, so I've heard almost every way someone's been murdered. So like watching it actually like in a horror sense, it's like it's very, I don't know, it's cool.
I like slashers and stuff too. I'm a big Halloween guy. I fuck with the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, shit like that.
I really like Saw too.
Saw makes me uncomfortable. At least the most recent Saw. I still can't get.
It's supposed to make you uncomfortable.
I know, but like it's
the most recent one's like the most tame one, to be honest.
That's the thing. Like torture porn. Like I don't know. Terrifier isn't. It's like. Terrifier is a different type of torture. Like it's just brutality. Like he will like skin a lady alive and then like pour salt and bleach on her like scalped head and then gouge her eyeballs out. Saw is more like you want them to live, so when they're struggling, it just makes me uncomfortable. Like, oh, that's just like when the dude had to do like an impromptu trach. When the guy had to like scoop out his brain, I'm like, oh my god, they want to live that fucking bad. I'm like,
yeah. Well, it's like how strong is your will kind of thing.
Yeah, I know.
Like it's like. It's so engaging because it's like, damn, would I do that?
Yeah, you know? that's where I feel like I get that anxiety.
Well, I mean, I feel like you have to. Like, I think part of it's like always like, no. I would totally be able to get out of this. I would totally do this.
That's definitely what they're aiming for when they make these movies.
Yeah,
like they design the scenes. They're like, this has to be something people can see themselves doing to like such a degree of like disparity.
Yeah,
and that's why the first Saw was my favorite horror movie, but recently it's changed to Alien 2.
Aliens, yeah.
Aliens, yeah.
Okay.
Alien is really good too. I really like Alien.
What's the scary part about Aliens too? Like, what was like the scariest? Like, what made you like it so much?
I don't even think it's that scary. I just like seeing army people fight aliens.
I was gonna say like Aliens isn't really like a horror movie.
And then I would say the first Alien.
Yeah. Because the second one is like way too like action heavy.
Yeah, it's like a Rambo type film.
Yeah. It's still good though. Like it's still a really good movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
You saw Alien Romulus, right?
I did.
That was a good ass movie. I really fuck with that movie.
So the second half was good. Me personally, I almost fell asleep in the first half.
Of Alien Romulus?
Yes.
I guess I could agree with that. I'm kind of inverted, to be honest. Like I thought the first half was better than the second half.
I did not give a shit about like any of the characters. I didn't even like know their names like halfway into the movie when they started dying.
I didn't either.
My brother actually fell asleep the first half of the movie. He woke up during the second half and then he turned to me and was like, bro, what the fuck's going on?
The ending of that movie's fucking crazy.
And I looked at him and I was like, oh, half of them died. And he's like, oh. Okay. Yeah, literally. No, the ending was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, the ending was crazy.
Oh my god, I rewatched it like 5 times over after I walked out of the theater.
To your point earlier, I think that's why like I enjoy like the Terrifier or like that kind of scene more because I know they're fucked. They're in a horror movie. They're not supposed to live. So like I don't have to like try to run through the whole could I do this? I'm like this was never going to work. I'm just going to see how this crazy psychopath does his thing. You know, more like watching an execution versus watching someone try to survive one of the most gripping things.
I was gonna say I like horror movies when you can kind of think of the killer as the protagonist after a certain point. You know what I mean? Because I mean, if that's what you're doing, if the whole point you're watching it is trying to see like how they can come up with creative murders and stuff like that. Like, fuck it, make them the protagonist. Might as well. Why not?
I think they've done it a couple of times, but it usually doesn't. I mean, of course, it does.
Chucky usually is.
No, is he the protagonist?
Usually. Not in the first movie, maybe not the second one, but I think pretty much everything after that, he is the protagonist of those movies.
I think in Bride of Chucky, he does have a way more prominent role. That's the one I've seen.
All of the recent Chucky stuff, he's pretty much been the protagonist in that.
Okay.
Even like Jason sometimes.
I know when he fought Freddy, he was the protagonist.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's any other monsters. Did he ever fight the guy from Halloween? I'm forgetting his name. Michael Myers?
No.
That was never a crossover? Okay. But I think in general, what really makes horror stand out to me, besides like slashes and stuff, is like existential dread, which is why like on one hand, Saw is like, I think it's just the type of kills in Saw kind of weird me out, but like I enjoy what Saw tries to do. And I think better movies that like exemplify that feeling is like, what was that one where it was Actually, I'll just think of the show because I can't think of the movie right now. But like, I like From because it isn't like I've never seen Lost. A lot of people are comparing it to like Lost, so I don't know exactly.
Is that the show?
The Lost show, yeah. But like, From is a show that had some of the writers from Lost on it, so they do know how to tell a big like overarching world. What I like about From is like it's horror based, but it's not like slasher horror. The horror comes from the fact that like each day they're playing like Minecraft hardcore, and I mean Minecraft hardcore like they pretend that they're safe during the day, but at nighttime the monsters are always lurking. Do y'all care about if I do like any mild spoilers about the show?
No.
Okay, so basically, like for the first season and a half, you get this idea that the people that live there only just started to survive due to the main character Boyd. Basically, there's ways to like ward off the monsters, and like it's like a science to the world. There's a way to protect yourself, and no one had that protection for 50 years until the main character was introduced, and he risked his life by walking into the woods with the monsters at nighttime, and he found it by accident. And so now they have like this sense of security. And so as when you watch the show for the first time with the first episode, you see these people think they're safe, and then you watch like children and other mishaps where like these monsters get in, and you see how they just eviscerate their bodies, and like these are still people, but they're trapped. And so you have that isolation horror you're talking about. Imagine instead of not only being trapped in a mall, imagine you're trapped in like a town where like everything is stuck in a loop, and each night your numbers only get smaller, and then each day you wake up and you pray and you hope that you get out, but you never do. And each day, like, and that's like, it's like a shrinking cage. It's like you can't escape, and the days are the same. But the only thing that changes are the people that you see every morning because someone dies. And like that mental idea of like it's almost like being like a Russian roulette. Who's gonna die next? And like that existential dread of just knowing each day could be your last, and that the human will to survive. And like it's that like you're watching people struggle. You're watching them like throw ideas around, like cry, try to have hope, and like you're watching it from a third person, so you get to see like actual like story elements being put together. But for the characters themselves, it's like you get this idea that they're fucked beyond any measure of a doubt. Yet they like, but you know the show is going on, so you're like, what happens next? How do they win? How do they persevere? And I think I like horror that does that, where like you know they're so screwed. Like Silent Hill is a good example of a game that does that. You know the guy's fucked, but you're like, okay, how's he gonna get out of this? And shit like that. Like I think Resident Evil 7 with like the Bumpkin family, shit like that. Where like they give you this overarching sense of like there is no escape, but you still try anyways. Yeah, it's like those horror movies get me the most because I like watching like not an underdog story, but like
I mean it is.
I mean it's underdog, but you know it's not under like you know like realistically like in a real sense if it wasn't a movie they would be dead. But like you're watching someone through all odds overcome that, and you're like holy shit. Yeah,
that's why I like horror games and stuff too, because you're actually like experiencing it. Like I definitely like horror games more than horror movies for sure. Because it's like damn, I'm fucking there. That shit would get me fucking like pumped. I don't know,
dude. I did horror VR games with John Westbrook once. That shit freaked me the fuck. I was like some kind of like Catholic who's the exorcist, and like it would just be demons and shit popping on the screen, and it was that was fucking creepy.
But there's so many good ass horror games out there. It's like nothing else will get you like as fucking like. I don't know. Nothing will get your fucking heart.
Yeah, because you're the character. You're the guy figuring all this shit out the first time.
Because it's not like I'm actually scared, but like in the heat of the moment, I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking die right now. Like if I'm gonna chase or something, I'm gonna fucking like I get jump out of my fucking chair and I start like fucking running with them and everything, dude. I swear to God.
Yeah, like we're figuring this shit out. We're getting out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You have any similar accounts to stuff like that with horror, or you just kind of like scary shit in general?
I've never really been like super into horror as like a genre. I mean, I think it's neat now. As a kid, I just never vibed with like
Terror Tales from the Park.
That's the regular show one. Yeah. That was cool. But I don't know. Like when I was a kid, I never like really fucked with like the theme of Halloween, just like spooky stuff. Oh, now that I'm older, like I really appreciate it. Like it's very unique, you know. Yeah. Like I appreciate the uniqueness of like Halloween and like that, like just horror as a genre. It's very unique.
Okay,
it's a very diverse.
Yeah, I'm like slowly dipping my toes in it, like you know, watching Alien and. Yeah, the Saw movies. So
I feel like a shit ton of recommendations for you if you ever need it. Like horror is fucking awesome. I love horror so much. It's one of my favorite genres out there.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't know. You guys have anything else to add?
I don't think so.
Check your candy, kids. You never know. There might be like razor blades
in there, or something crazy.
Xanax pills, or I don't know. But you know fentanyl what? Inside.
Oh, wait. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody. But I was gonna say while we getting out to closings, I do have a testimonial. Our previous episode that will come up shortly, we did with a good buddy of ours, Tyler, and after recording that episode, I went back to my job. I do just basically like house cleaning and shit, and a customer of mine, one of her animals had passed away recently, so she had a lot of like leftover pet stuff, and so she was like, we were just talking and stuff. I've taken stuff to like Goodwill for her before. So, we're just, chatting it up and shit. And I'm like, hey, if you want, I could take like these dog crates and stuff to Goodwill for you. She's like, no, I want to sell them. And so in my head, I was like, you want to sell them? She's like, I have to find somebody to sell them. I was like, find somebody to sell them. And she was recently, she's a grandmother. So she's twice the mom. And I was just like,
twice the mom.
Ma'am. My friend made an app.
Do I have something for you?
Listen to this podcast episode to learn all about it.
And so, she took the name down in Cell Raise. So hopefully if I see her again in the next couple of weeks, I'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah, I sold it. Yeah.
Yeah. I told her how you just have to list it and it sells it for you. It comes with a price. All she has to do.
Did you explain how to like use it?
I literally explained how you tell your parents to turn on the Wi-Fi. I literally gave her the breakdown because I was like, she's old.
I mean, it's good though.
Yeah. And so it's so easy. Even your grandma can do it.
Yeah.
Where can I find them, Alfonso?
At Cellraze, Sellraze. It's on the Apple Store. It's in the Google Play Store.
It's got a website. They
got a .com.
Yeah.
They got a .com as well. Like, just check them out. Like, I mean, think about it. Media. Think how ordinary that scenario was. She just had some shit she didn't need anymore. How many of y'all have shit y'all don't need anymore? Sell it.
Yeah.
Sell it right now, damn it.
And if you don't know anything about it, I mean, the last episode before this one, we literally interviewed one of the founders for over an hour. So, I mean,
check that out.
If you're trying to be an investor, make a smart investment in this year of 2024 of our Lord, right before this presidential election where stock markets do fluctuate and go down, Cellraze might be a good stock.
They're not publicly traded yet.
Anyways,
you know how stocks work?
I don't know how stocks work. Just let me talk, damn it. Anyways, basically, it's a good investment. Fuck these guys for ruining their merch.
It's enough of your time if you're selling things because it makes things really efficient. So check them out at Cellraze. And check us out at the Scat Cast at scat.cast on Instagram, scat.clips on TikTok, Scat Cast on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your shit. Cellraze is going to be on there.
Yeah, everything.
Oh, yeah.
We're here forever. You're stuck with us.
Cellraze 1,000 years, 2,000 years, maybe.
Maybe even 3. I don't know. I mean,
we'll be on season 2 by then. I don't know. Maybe not.
But you know what? After all that, I just got to say thank you for listening. Happy Halloween. Good luck. Don't die.
Let's get spooky.
All right.